Welcome to our Playbook podcast, your go-to space for real, unfiltered conversation and stories with successful beauty queens in Uganda. My name is Chisache Rona, your host, and today on the set we have an amazing lady. I must say, she's one of those people that actually made Miss Uganda famous simply because of what she did during her reign. There wasn't so much social media, but she did the best that she could. So today we want to talk to her, get to know her story, how she got into the pageant world, what she has been up to, what to expect from her. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Uganda 2013, Fiona Bizzu. Yay!
Hi.
Thank you so much for accepting my invite to come on this podcast. I know you're a very, very busy person, so we are very honored to have you here. And yeah, the guests would want to know, the viewers, who is Fiona Bizzu before Miss Uganda? Who was Fiona Bizzu? What was she up to?
Oh, thank you for having me, Rona. Yes, I'm Fiona Bizzu, Miss Uganda 2012, 2013. Yes. Before Miss Uganda, I was just a little girl dreaming of modeling. And in O-level, I remember my nickname at Seroma was Arapapa because at times Santa Anzo was, it was Santa Anzo and Silvio Woli.
Yeah.
Those were the two biggest names in fashion at that time. And so, so it encouraged me and I wanted to go for Miss Buzz in my S4 vacation, but my guardian said no. Then after S6, I said, no way I'm missing out on Miss Uganda. So I took part. But I come from a very humble background. I unfortunately lost my parents very young.
So sorry about
I could
that.
barely talk. And so we grew up in a home. So coming from a home, adopting, first of all, to high school, and it's a different world. Then A-level, it's a whole other situation. Now talk about pageantry. So for me, it has been a learning step, process by process. I learned something new. And so when I did not tell anybody I was going for Miss Uganda, they just, I think they saw on TV or something, and then word got out that I was taking part. Because initially, S4, he had said no. My sisters were not encouraging. They're like, oh, aren't you guys going to have to walk nude in swimsuits for the whole world to see? I said, no, not at Miss Uganda. In fact, even at the auditions, you tie a sash. So I just went and did it. In fact, but I almost missed because Maureen, Miss Western Uganda that year, was at school with my sister at Mbara University. And so Rita was like, talk to Maureen, she'll tell you how it is. So I was living in Ginger because that's the last place we lived with my parents. And after, in my holidays, I would go live in Ginger. So it was a holiday and I was in my vac, actually, yes. So I was in Ginger. And then I go on the final day of Miss Eastern Region. And I was told that I was late. I had to go to Kampala, pick a form and fill in. I almost quit. Then my sister is like, no, call Maureen. She gave me Maureen's number. So I call Maureen. Maureen tells me, I fill in the forms and take them to Radio 1. That very day I had to go and... apply for a passport?
What?
Yes. And then they told me the age limit is 18.
How old were you by then?
I was turning 18.
Oh my God. So legally you were not, you couldn't qualify to contest.
Yeah. I can say that now. I'm not in trouble or anything. But yeah. So I was barely 18 and I had to, I said I was 19. I made a passport for 19 years old. So they called me to pick up my passport and then I'm at Internal Affairs. I'm waiting, I'm seated. Then Maureen calls me, Fiona, where are you? We're at Governor. We're doing the final selection for the girls going to the to take part in the
In the
boot
boot
camp.
camp, yeah.
So I rushed, picked my passport, and I got a border
To Governor.
to Governor. It wasn't so far, but I didn't want, I was in a hurry. And so I reached Governor and I'm asking, so what do I need to do? And they're like, you're very late, we've closed. But I mean, if something is meant for
Oh,
you,
yeah.
there is nothing that can
yeah.
take it away. Miss Northern, that year, she was running late. She was coming from Gulu. So they're like, maybe you can wait and go in with her.
With the,
Yeah, so I went in and the judges were pleased with me. And because I remember Miss B was like, take off, Fiona, you need to take off your temporary dreads and
yeah,
color
dreads,
your
but,
hair black. I was like, oh my God. I just spent a fortune trying to do permanent dreads. I was like so done with braiding hair. Yes, so that is the rundown to then we got into the boot camp and
what when when you got into boot camp, what were your expectations? And when you got there, meeting girls that you were seeing for the very first time from the different parts of Uganda, and was it like your first pageant? Yeah, so it was like your first pageant. Like, what were your expectations? How did this whole boot camp go? Did you at one moment have this in mind that I could actually win this? Was it a thought you had, or you were just there to let me see how far I can go in the competition?
honestly, see, we did not have so much information online about Miss Uganda. I did not know people to ask about their experiences. At first, I thought it was a modeling thing. So I went, and then as the first week of the boot camp opened my eyes, but I was so scared and intimidated by these ladies. They were older than me. They
Yeah.
were smarter. They were very confident. They knew what they wanted from the pageant. I thought I was just coming to model.
To model.
I thought it was like America's Next Top Model because I used to watch that show with my sisters. So while we're going to boot camp, top model. We're going to do some runway, top model. Then the reality hit me after the first 3 days. The classes we're taking are different. We're doing speech and diction. We're waking up at 5 a.m., do prayers, go and do serious workout for almost an hour, come back, clean our rooms, make breakfast, have breakfast. Then the classes start. It was different.
It was different, yeah.
Then I realized, okay, this is probably what Miss Uganda is about. And so I took it in stride and I don't do anything halfway. That's one thing about me. I'll either do it or not do it at all.
Yeah.
So as time went on, I did not say I am going to win this. I think I kept saying I could win this. I could win this. And then I had a dream. Yeah, I think that's one of my spiritual gifts at this point. Growing up, I did not know, but I think at this point, it's one of my spiritual gifts. I had a dream that, I was, what do you call it? When people are all over you. Fixing me up, doing everything. And the people I saw doing that to me were some of the chaperones and the trainers for Miss Uganda. Yeah. But on the final day, I think I messed up my first question. So I went backstage and cried off my makeup. It's real. It's the pressure.
The pressure is real.
It's, oh my goodness. I started crying and I'm like, I messed up my question. And the girls are like, no, you have one more chance. When they read the top 10 and I was the last to be read. And I think at that time, they didn't even say in no particular order. I think at that time it showed if you were like saving the best for last.
Yeah.
And everybody was shocked, actually. They were shocked. And then I messed up my question. I remember there were some people in the front row who they were letting the feelings and opinions
You
be
could
known.
know that you've actually failed.
I was not the only one who cried backstage. Then they read the top 5, and now I was read second last.
In the top 5.
That's when I went back, I cried. I was like, oh, I messed up. Then when the top 5 came on, I asked my question. And yeah, it reassured me. And then the crowd cheered. And my sister was sending me messages. Listen, I was raw. I kid you not, I was raw. The presentation night at Governor, if you get a video of how I'm walking, it's like I want my nose to reach the ceiling. It was terrible. I was just marching. And then at the walk, then my walk got quicker. And so my sister was sending me messages, slow down, Fiona, you're walking too fast. The lady I was walking with, oh my goodness, she took her time. Hopefully one day you'll interview her here.
Yeah, did you have like to, like they keep telling us to keep the same pace with your partner? Yeah.
Yes. So I reduced my speed, but no, she was not gliding anymore. And, oh my God, she walked so slow. She paused, took her time, came, turned, paused in the middle. So I'm looking stupid and I'm standing, I'm like, we go. Pageantry. There's always something happening and you do not know. You're seated down, you don't know what's on the stage.
Yeah.
And then later you hear the girls talk. I was telling her, we go. I was counting, she was not listening. Because in the Miss Uganda, as the president of the Academy of Queens, I get to interact with the ladies a lot because I don't want it to end there.
And
You have not won the crown. Don't hate Miss Uganda. Don't hate pageantry. Don't hate what we stand for. Pick what you can get. So I'm always reminding them it's one crown, but get what you can from this pageant. So when I hear them, I check you. You messed up on the stage. It was the finale, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm going to check you and say, what happened? One of you left the other or one delayed? What happened?
What happened, yeah.
Then she'll say, I counted for her. And I'm like, okay, now you know better. Rehearse. We keep telling them, you have a moment? Because interestingly enough, when we're doing these pairings, sometimes they tend to be like height mates, then they're like roommates.
Yeah,
so I'm like, you have time together, get in sync.
Yeah,
it looks so
work it
beautiful.
So when you're on stage, and you hear your name being announced, Fiona Bizzu, Miss Uganda 2012, what went through your mind at that moment?
I was kind of out of it at that point. I don't think I was in Serena anymore. No. Honestly, I'm not so sure how I felt at that point. Yeah. I was happy. I was shocked. I was in disbelief. But I had to keep the calm queen face.
Yeah.
But and even my sister came back and she's like, Fiona, you won. I was like, yeah. Till this day, I'm not too sure how I felt.
How you felt in the moment.
But above it all, I just felt, it felt right.
It felt right, yeah.
And I was grateful to God. Yeah, I felt blessed, but it just felt right.
So when, transitioning now into a queen, you have someone managing your schedule. You can't just wake up in the morning and go wherever you want. You had to prepare for Miss World. How was that transition for you?
It was challenging for me because on top of being Miss Uganda, I did so well in my A-level. I was on a government scholarship to MUBS. So I had school. And my classes are from 8 a.m. to midday. And sometimes we have activities in between that time.
Yeah.
Then we might have activities after that time that will go late into or early into the mornings. And then I have to go home. Then I have to rest. But by 7 a.m., I have to be up and ready
Already, yeah.
to be picked up and be in class by 8. So I'm not getting enough rest, and it's affecting my classes. So I had to take a dead year. Yes.
Wow,
But the
sorry.
transition was, it's up and down, yes. Some things you could manage, but you do need a team. Yes, you need help when you're transitioning, because you can get overwhelmed, and if you do not find a balance, you can lash out at people, especially the media. The
Yeah.
press can be so
Oh yeah, when they come for you, true.
frustrating. You're trying, and if they sniff at something like a scandal, we suffered with red pepper. Oh my!
Oh, by that time it
God.
was the in thing. Yeah, true.
And the Kampala Sun. Oh my God.
So what can you say changed about you when you won Miss Uganda personally? Did it have an effect on your character as a person, or like lessons you feel like you learned along the way that changed the way you look at life?
So look at it this way: a young girl thrust into the limelight because she has showcased her brilliance, her confidence, and her uniqueness. Then there's attacks from everywhere. I was attacked. They kept saying I don't deserve to be Miss Uganda. And we had the same opportunities. We did the same activities. There's no favoritism. It's you. It's you. So I had to get stronger. Yes, I had to get tougher. And I know some of the girls who come for Miss Uganda auditions are like, Queen Bizzu is so tough. I'm like, no, I'm giving you tough love because I've been there. I don't want you to mess up. Yes. So if you can take it from me, if you have any questions, I'm here for you. Whether you win or not, I still communicate with some ladies who didn't even make it past the auditions.
Oh, wow, that's good.
Yes, because at the end of the day, I'm here for every young lady, not just pageantry ladies. So I've always been empathetic. I've always been kind, caring. I love to help. And at least if I can't help, I will send you where you can get help.
Yeah.
So that didn't change about me. Accountability wise, I had to have, that had to get, bigger. I had to be more accountable for my actions because everything is being scrutinized.
Yeah.
Then I had to, you want to be private, but you can't exactly be private.
Be private, yeah.
So it's hard to balance that as a young lady listen, you guys, the home was in Mabida Forest. The only time I might see the city is when I am getting on the bus to go to Lira for Christmas.
Oh.
Then I'm in the city. It can mess with you if you're not strong. But I'm very strong. I'm very spiritual. I'm a Christian. So, and my family, they came through.
They came through.
Yeah. They got on board at some point. Because I told them, you guys, it's really challenging. They're like, Fiona, now you have an old white man. I'm like, no, Sarah, these are tabloids. Fiona, what is this saying you're indecent? I'm like, no, where is that? They put a picture. I said, that was at Miss World swimsuit competition. Should I have wanted to go Messi then? So as time went on, they saw that there's a lot of fake news out there, and we considered suing, actually.
So what could you say are some of the challenges you face as being, a national title holder when it came to public expectations of you being Miss Uganda? Did it weigh on you at some point? And, when you mentioned of how tabloids would come up with ridiculous stories, did it have an effect on your mental health? How did you maneuver?
In the beginning, it kind of put me down. Like I said, at first it was putting me down, and then what made it even worse was when my close family would call, and they think that is what's actually happening when it's not. So what I adjusted. I got what is it called? Tough skin. I toughened my skin and I just let it slide. But the issue would come in when we're trying to do something serious. And then somebody says, but Fiona, you're always out. Fiona, you move from this man to this man to this man. Fiona, you're not even in school anymore. How can we, rely upon you to work with us or something like that? Even personal relationships. That really messed with me at some point. Yeah, I gotta say it did. And so you're not too sure who you're going to talk to because you do not know if this is a genuine friend and if they're actually going to help you go through such a tough time, or they're just going to be people who, like, people who just fish for information and then, when they're like hanging and everything, just to have just to gossip about. So it's challenging because, yeah, it reaches a point where you're not sure who is for you. And that can mess with you. So in the beginning, that was it. But as time went on, I talk more with my family. The Miss Uganda management is helpful as well. And a few friends. Yeah, because the thing is, your life changes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, true.
Say, for example, let me get something as simple as where I used to hang. As I remember, I came straight from high school. So a friend of mine asked for a gown. I said, no problem. Can I drop it or do you want to pick it up? And just out of the blue, she starts saying, I have changed. I feel better than them. I'm showing off. I asked her, please clarify how I'm showing off, how I'm better than you. You asked me for something and I asked to drop it for you. I could have said, I said a border. And that was it. That's where that story with her ended.
What?
Just like that. So that happens. Yeah, it wasn't a one-time thing. So that's where it goes back to you feel you're alone. You do not know who to turn to.
Do you feel like because you've been through a pageant system, you've been through a competition, do you feel like sometimes when you get into the real world, sometimes people don't understand you, or like something changes about you and maybe the people around you don't simply understand, and the only person who could literally understand you could be maybe a fellow beauty queen who has gone through the process? Or it's just that when you're in boot camp, we are put at a certain level, and then when we get out, maybe we feel like we cannot be like the people around us, or it's just something that just happens where you just see life differently.
I actually tell the young ladies, when you get out, these are your sisters. These are going to be your closest friends. And it's not that I'm setting a precedent or I'm putting it in stone. No, it just happens. You have gone through 3 weeks that have tested your emotions, your mental state, your physical, your socialization skills. And you see, usually the people you go through things with, you tend to create a bond. And somebody who hasn't been there will not understand the bond. Yeah, so it tends to turn out that, the young ladies that take part in pageants are closer. I'm still in touch with some of the ladies from 2012 because we kept in touch. Because when we came out of boot camp, they don't get it.
They don't get it. Yeah.
Someone told it to my face, you bribed. I said, me? Be straight from my home. Where am I getting money to bribe? And Yeah, well, somewhere really nasty comments that you did something with the judges. I said, come on. That's not,
That's not
at
true.
least I know that's not Miss Uganda. And I just don't think pageantry in Uganda is at that level. Yes.
So what opportunities can you say came your way after, being Miss Uganda? Were there opportunities that you got and someone said, no, I think I can work with Fiona because she has been Miss Uganda?
Oh, yes, because I was so much into, excuse me, since I launched the petition against teenage pregnancy to the Speaker of Parliament, I'm so glad that they took it in stride. And up to now, we still work with teenage mothers as a Miss Uganda Foundation and other ladies who took it on as a project individually. And the opportunities that came, there's a lot of travel, there's promotions, but the most significant one up to date is working with a foundation that helps to place children back with their families instead of homes. And I can relate to that because I really do, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate the education, the health, the home, that the orphanage gave us. But if honestly speaking, I was very close to my mother. And I'm not saying somebody had to be my mother and baby me, but I never felt that at the home, and it affected my self-esteem a lot. I had to build myself back up. And personal, like intimate relationships, it did also affect that. And so at the home, it felt like there was a situation. You have to be grateful that you're here. Take it as it is. You can't say anything about something. And then, yeah. Let's take a moment.
Yeah. Thank you. We're all here.
Where were we?
The home that you're passionate about, the project, because it reinstates children back into their homes. Yeah.
Yes. So coming from such a home, and then the Child's Eye Foundation approached me because I had been in such a system. So I work with young caregivers, and sometimes I'll go do sexual reproductive health and rights programs with the younger ones who are being reinstated. Yes, so I'll say that's something that's close to my heart.
Close to your heart. Yeah.
And also menstrual health, because I have seen some people, just because they did not have that education or the material, then we have the teenage mothers. It's a cycle.
It's a cycle, yeah.
That I feel like if we started with menstrual health, it would go a long way. So right now, I get involved with, no matter how small the organization, if somebody reaches out to me, Fiona, we need to do this, this, and this on sexual reproductive health, I'm in.
You're in.
Like, I'm in.
Yeah.
And another thing that another opportunity for Miss Uganda, it's the people you meet. You would never think you would meet, let's say, from politicians, from CEOs, from just even your favorite local artists.
Yeah.
You get to meet people, and when you see them doing their thing, you're like, oh, this person is unapproachable like some people think I am. But then when you meet them, you realize they're actually strong and beautiful souls, you know. It took me a while to, during Miss Uganda, it was like a duty. As when you're reigning, it is your duty to be social, to be cordial, to show a beautiful personality and have people warm up to you or something like that. But after Miss Uganda, it's a choice.
It's a choice, yeah.
You don't have to do it if you don't want
If you
to.
don't want to.
But if you don't do it, what did you learn from Miss Uganda?
Yeah.
Then how are you going to work with people?
With people, yeah.
So after I handed over, I had an issue with that because I had not always been a people person because of I was bullied in O level. And so I didn't like people. In fact, at some point I would say, oh, I prefer puppies to people. Then I miss Uganda and I'm like, okay.
Well, there are no puppies and
No
actually people.
puppies, yeah. So apart from the girls, you have the whole Uganda to deal with. Then you go to China and the language barrier and okay. So you have to be a people person. Not a people pleaser. Mind, there's a difference. You have to stand your ground. You be respectful, but you know what you stand for. Yeah.
So we have seen you, you know, it's very rare for a former beauty queen to still, you know, remain and serve, you know, the organization. And we've seen you do, you know, so many things with the reigning Miss Uganda that have come after you. You know, you've been at projects with them. Is this like a passion of yours, or you know, it's something that you got to realize along the way that, oh, I can actually be of service to Miss Uganda?
Yeah, one of the things I tell the young ladies is find your niche, and I feel like one of my niches is pageantry and what it stands for. Say from the CSR work to you know, training young ladies, pre, during, and post pageant. I feel I am strong at that. I'm strong at elevating and impacting young people's lives. And Miss Uganda impacts so many lives. We deal with 1,000 to 2,000 young ladies a year.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
It's tough. It's tough to select and say, okay, these are our 20. So I'm good. I would say I'm good at what I do.
I'm good at what you do. Yeah.
And so if you're good at what you do, you'll be called upon to serve. And so apart from it being like a service, it's enriching for me. Yes, because Miss Uganda changed my life, and I would like to keep the culture going. So, and I've seen what it does for young ladies. We've had, you know, and this is, I'm not saying this to badmouth the young ladies, but people have different characters.
Yeah, true.
Some of us are very spoiled, mommy's babies. Some of us are spoiled maybe because we come from very wealthy families. Some of us are just, we're overly confident. Some of us are like inconsiderate. So after Miss Uganda, after the boot camp, you really see some change in this. And it's heartwarming. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see. We've had testimonies of young ladies come back and say, thank you so much for Miss Uganda and what it did for me. Then, of course, we have had others who say, don't go there. Don't go there. They cheat. They have favoritism. They starve you. I don't want to make her. I don't want to make her trend again. There was a time after Mombasa. That young lady.
Do you feel like from before, the social media wasn't so out there, to showcase the work of beauty queens. And it actually, girls were doing amazing things. Yes, that they were not showcased. And for some reason, we don't know why media always chose to depict the bad side. And yet, actually, girls were doing a lot. Do you feel like queens nowadays are still impactful as those from before, or of now it seems to be so much on glitz and glamour and less on the impact?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The impact never stopped. It's just the coverage that changed. And because it was paper media, and this is now social online, and literally everybody has access to it. Like a huge percentage of Uganda and the world at large is on social media. And so if it's not, I have not seen too much negativity in regards to the work, but like personal, some comments will be harsh. But I feel like those days they really wanted to make sales.
Yeah.
So if they put a good story, the week, what would be funny? On the front page, it's a negative story.
Yeah.
Page 18, there's pictures of me with a minister, maybe at a baby's home. I'm like, why don't you do it the other way? Or even leave the other one. So but I think social media right now, it's much better. You can come out and clarify. Red Pepper is going to say, have a bad story of you in the front page. They're not going to recant that.
They can't
won't.
Yeah.
That's what people take. But now you can do something about it. And we're more careful now. Thanks to our experience, the ladies are more careful. And when we tell them, listen, you need to be private. Say, even the dating life. Let's say you're dating right now, try to go to more private places. Maybe if you want to go out, try girls' nights. Right now, yes. As time goes on, then you can do that.
So, what career path did you take after Miss Uganda? Or how did you transition into the real world after the spotlight, I should say? I should call it. You've handed over your crown and now you're back into the real world. The management that was with you 24/7, has been now changed to another queen. How was that transition for you into the real world?
We sign a contract. So when you hand over that year, you still have a couple years. You work with the foundation. So the management doesn't exactly change. Priority will be on the main queen. But if you have something you need help with, they'll be there. Then the spotlight actually doesn't immediately go away because they have this thing that after you've handed over, that's it. So in my case, they disturbed me a lot after I handed over because they wanted to know, what are you doing now? And when I tried to be private, you're sitting, maybe you've gone for a function and you're seated, attending as you attend, and they're trying to get ridiculous pictures. There's a gentleman, he passed. That guy, we're young, we might as well enjoy looking good and everything. And you're seated, he's going to try.
Used to take,
that
for some
gentleman.
reason,
Yes.
he used to get,
Yes. So right now, apart from the Child Eye Foundation, I have personal projects coming up that I'll announce as and when. Business, of course, you need an extra source of income as a young lady. And I feel like this might not be the right time to talk about what I'm doing. Yeah. But when it's ready, it will all be laid out
share
on
with
the
the
table.
world. Yeah. Okay. Do you think pageantry in Uganda has empowered women, or there is still, some things that we are not doing right that we need to do as an industry? From experience, from going to Miss World and seeing how these girls from other countries, were managed, how they showed up, what do you feel could be still missing in our industry?
Support. We need a lot of outside support. Pageantry is expensive, to be honest, because when you're a beauty queen, it's not that you're always talking. So your looks, your appearance will have to talk for you.
For you, yeah, true.
And a good, beautiful experience costs money.
Costs money. Oh, yeah.
So if you don't have the support, I remember there's a time we were being slandered for repeating clothes. We're younger. We haven't gotten the support yet. And we're repeating clothes. Said, oh my goodness. And so if we can get support, I'm very confident that we can be the beauty queens we're meant to be and thrive in international pageants. See, the bigger pageants in Uganda right now, we have Miss Uganda, Miss Tourism. But the others, we have Miss Earth, Intercontinental, Grand. I saw there's Miss Elite. There is then the little ones also
for
come
the kids,
in.
yeah.
Then we have the Misses as well. There's so much. But what I need people to realize is investing in pageantry can actually be a win.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because you get free promotion. And apart from empowering a young lady, who is going to go ahead and empower somebody? Because what people need to realize about pageantry, it does not stop with us who have taken part in the pageant. Actually, no, let me give an example of Miss World. It's beauty with a purpose. Your purpose is your community, your country. You're an ambassador for wellness. You're an ambassador for entrepreneurship, for education. So it doesn't stop with you. It actually might start with you. So I feel like we need to support pageantry. And if you cannot offer, some people cannot offer, call it cash, they can offer support in kind. It's all welcome. It goes a long way. Just to know that my countrymen and women actually stand with me in this.
Yeah, true.
And then another thing, the young ladies who I met at Miss World, they had apart from the management support, they had family support, and the country, they had ministries involved, actually.
Yeah, true.
It's only Miss Tourism that has a ministry involved.
Attached to it, yeah.
We say no names, no slander. I was going to report somebody who made me so upset.
We can get the scenario and not the name.
And we have actually gone to ask for help from NGOs, from private companies, private successful individuals, from the government of Uganda. They have come through, but it should not be conditioned.
Yeah.
It should be continuous. We roll out S6 leavers every year, graduates every year, a new queen every year. It should be continuous support. And recognition. We want recognition.
Oh yeah, we do very amazing things.
I'm not campaigning. It's not politics. But we need recognition as pageantry. We do a lot, you guys. We do a lot. You know, there's a lot of things that you don't know are actually happening until a beauty queen goes into a community and says, do you know the rate of rape and sexual abuse in this community? And the gender labor social means
That
you
is
had
actually supposed
no
to be
idea.
yeah.
Or they heard of it, but they did not take action. We need recognition. Come on.
True. You mentioned that you head the Academy of Queens. Maybe just as someone would like to know what's the whole objective of the Academy of Queens, and have you been able to achieve those objectives throughout the year?
Okay. The Academy of Queens is a community of past queens. It has been for title holders, but we take on board exceptional young ladies and we continue the work. We come together and we compare what you were doing, what was your cause, because you cannot just come for Miss Uganda and enjoy the glam bit. For us, it's beauty with a purpose. Miss Tourism, you have conservation in it. You have to have something related to that. So we come together, compare our causes, and find ways to look for support and then continue doing the work. So that's why I come in and I say we need the support.
We need the support. Yeah.
Because the work doesn't stop. Because if you go to a community and you start something, then you hand over. That doesn't mean you stop.
Doesn't mean you stop.
They're expecting you back.
True.
You also need to do follow-up. Yes.
So I'm a young girl out there. I want to take part in Miss Uganda, when we just see the beautiful girls on stage, we see the queen, at beautiful events and beautiful dresses, we don't know what goes on, behind the scenes in what it takes to actually become Miss Uganda. So for a girl out there who wants to take part in Miss Uganda, what advice would you give her, or what tips would you give her?
In somebody's famous words, make a research. First of all. And then have your reason. Why are you coming? Why? Because we have sometimes ladies who come and she's like, I'm coming because I want to fight for teenage mothers. That's all right. You, what is your personal reason? What do you expect to get from this? My personal reason, I wanted exposure as a model. Then I reached and then I learned so much. And then I win. But let's be honest, modeling in Uganda,
it doesn't pay that much. True.
Then if you're coming from Miss Uganda, be open-minded.
Yeah.
Be ready to learn. We do not want to fight with you and you're taking a position of somebody who would have been willing to learn. Yes, so have your goals. Please be well behaved. And have a great personality. Yeah. Be ready to associate with people from all walks of world.
Okay. And do you feel like personal branding is really, really important for anyone taking part in a pageant, whether Miss Uganda or Miss World? Do you feel like personal branding is something that they should have before they even think of coming to contest?
Personal branding matters before you come for a pageant, but let it be clean. We encourage young ladies because they check your social media. Even Miss World, international pageants do. I mean, even the embassies are checking your social medias. So you want a visa and you say you're going for Christmas, but then you look like you're selling, for lack of a better phrase. It's not good. Yeah, and you have a long way to go as a young lady.
As a young lady, yeah.
You don't want to be seen like that.
Yeah. If you had a chance to compete again, with the experience you had from your last time you competed, what would you change?
It's a different time, different times. So that time happened as is.
As it is, yeah.
And right now, of course, I'm more exposed. I'm more traveled, so I've had picked up here and there. I am smarter. I am more level-headed. So with that,
Yeah.
I would, of course,
you'd compete
I would
better.
ace it. Yeah, I'd ace it.
What are those like three you could give us misconceptions that people have about beauty pageants and beauty queens that you've been hearing, and you feel like they're so wrong, they need to change?
That beauty queens don't have much to offer the world in terms of brains and what we give. Yet we do. We're smart. I kid you not. I dare somebody to wake up and stand in those high heels in front of those lights. You're standing for 3 to 4 hours and you're answering questions.
And spot on.
Random.
No time to think.
Random questions. You have 2 minutes to make sense. Or you attend an event and they just ambush you. Or there was a point you would think you're going to do one thing and then you do 4 things a day. So you've been briefed about 2, but then another one comes up later during the day.
And you have to adjust.
So you have to quickly change and get ready and attend. But most of the events, you're saying something. So when you say we're not smart, I dare somebody to balance that. Balancing beauty, brains, and compassion is not an easy thing. And remember, we're doing this when we're young.
Yeah.
Then another misconception, excuse me, another misconception they have about beauty queens is that we are too high standard to maintain, especially for relationships. And you know what I say to that? If you're saying I am high maintenance, then you're not my target market.
Yeah.
Simple as that. The one who will not even complain, say, yeah, I got this.
Oh, yeah, true. We've been hearing that, and you're like, I think that, sometimes someone will come to you and you've attracted them, and then they come to you, and by the time you come to me and you have this mentality that I'm high maintenance, in your mind, if you feel you cannot maintain, then
walk along.
Walk along and find someone that you can actually maintain.
Don't hold the traffic.
Yeah. So one second last question. If I asked you to describe your journey in the pageant industry, from when you were a queen and now that you're working behind the scenes and supporting beauty queens, how can you describe that journey?
Roller coaster. Yes, sometimes it's calm, sometimes the seas are stormy, but overall, it's been a blessing. I don't take anything for granted, and I'm very appreciative for everybody who was with me in my journey during and after, and still is. All the queens that have come after me, and you've still kept in touch. We've enriched each other's lives in more ways than one. So I would describe my journey as a learning phase. I mean, I feel like it never stopped. I feel like I'm still on the journey.
Yeah, on the journey.
Yes. And so the thing about pageantry, even if you wake up and you're 50 years old, you can go and win a pageant.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't segregate like that. If you find your age has passed, just find the next one. Find the next one and just go.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's one thing I've gotten from pageantry. And it's been a journey of learning. It's been a journey of of disappointments. It's been a journey of strengthening myself, my resolve, my mind, and but basically it's been a journey of compassion and empathy.
If you had a chance to meet the Fiona Bizzu that won Miss Uganda at a very young age, and the Fiona Bizzu now, what advice would you give her?
First of all, I would tell her how proud I am of her for all the achievements that she has had, all the triumphs she's had, whatever she's overcome. And then I would tell her to be more self-loving, to blame herself less. Things you can't control, let it go.
Let it go.
And things you can control, make it work.
Make it work.
And most importantly, like, keep your God close and beware. Be wary of two-faced fake friends. Whoops, yeah. Sheep's clothing.
Okay, and before we close, what is you told us that there's something that you're working on that you cannot share with us right now, but just as a simple glimpse of Fiona Bizzu's life right now, what could people know about you right now that maybe they wouldn't know when you were Miss Uganda?
Oh. Okay, maybe I can take you through my day. I wake up at 6 and do my prayers and meditation. Then drop my niece at school. Then try to make sure that whatever I have to do, I do between 9 a.m. to noon. Go back for lunch, and then I work from 3:30 to 2 a.m.
Wow.
Then if I have to be, so I try to make sure what I have to do, I do it in between meetings, maybe lunches, socialization. This is Monday to Friday. Then on the weekend is completely free. Yes, and then even my meetings, I try to check them before that time.
Before your work.
There's a lot of meetings on call nowadays because of the kind of work I am doing. Of course, when the travel comes, I love traveling. When the travel comes, I travel.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for allowing to come onto the set with us. We've really learned a lot. You've given us a whole picture of what Miss Uganda is all about, and I feel like a girl out there this year, I think you should prepare for more girls coming, because you've really given us, it has been an eye-opening conversation. And you are a very, I don't know if people have told you, but you're very calm. You're very calm, but your voice, so it's very calming. And you see, they tell people there are a few things that make people win pageants that you may not even know. So I believe calmness could have been one of your strongest attributes in winning Miss Uganda. Yeah. So thank you so much for being on the set with us. It's been amazing. And thank you all for watching. And all I can leave you with, that I always tell you, is that the crown may be temporary, but the impact lasts a lifetime. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you in the next episode.